If you're trading solo and feel like you're missing real guidance, this video is your blueprint. You'll learn how to train your mind, your strategy, and your execution like a pro, even without a mentor by your side. If you're serious about leveling up on your own terms, hit that subscribe button. You're alone at the screen again. Charts open, no one to text, no second opinion, just you. And this candle that keeps dancing around your entry zone. You ask yourself, should I wait? Then again, am I waiting because it's smart or because I'm scared? And that's the problem. When you trade without a mentor, the silence can be dangerous. It makes doubt louder. It makes losing feel personal. And the wins, they feel lucky, not earned. But here's the truth I wish someone told me when I was just starting out. You can train yourself. You can become your own coach. But you've got to stop treating trading like a side hustle and start treating it like a discipline. Because discipline is what replaces mentorship when no one's watching. I learned that the hard way. There was a point where I blew 2 small funded accounts back to back, not because I didn't know how to draw a zone or spot liquidity, but because I didn't know how to manage myself when fear, hope, and revenge were all screaming at me. And there was no mentor to tell me, step away from the screen, don't fight the market, reset. So I had to learn to be that voice for myself. And today, that's what I want to pass to you. Not some quick fix, but a complete mindset shift. Because if you're willing to treat your mind like a skill, you won't just survive without a mentor. You'll become the kind of trader others wish they could learn from. So how do you train yourself like a pro when you're trading alone? Let's start with this. You don't need a mentor. You need a mirror. Let me explain. Most traders think they want guidance, but what they actually need is feedback. Not praise, not motivation, just real data on what they're doing and how that behavior compounds over time. Pros in any field obsess over feedback loops. Athletes film their form, actors rewatch every take, and yet traders? They'll blow 3 accounts and blame the strategy. I was that guy. I'd journal entries for 2 days, miss a session, and forget it ever happened. I was collecting screenshots, not patterns. Studying P&L, not behavior. Until one week, I saw something I couldn't ignore. Every time I increased size, I cut trades early. Every time I got 2 losses in a row, I chased a fast win. The market wasn't my enemy. I was the system breaking my own edge. That was the week I built my first mirror. It wasn't pretty. Just a Google sheet, 3 columns. What did I plan to do? What did I actually do? Why did I deviate? No fluff, just raw honesty. And after 30 trades, I saw what no trading book ever taught me. My issues were never technical. They were emotional habits, repeated, hidden, masked as logic. So if you want to train yourself like a pro, start with this. Build your mirror, every trade, every day. Not to punish yourself, but to pattern yourself. Because once you see your own loops, you can finally interrupt them. Here's another lesson you won't hear often. The strategy doesn't matter if your identity isn't built. Let me ask you this. Who are you when the market goes silent? Who are you when your setup doesn't come for 3 days? Who are you when your plan wins, but you didn't take the trade? If your answer changes day to day, you don't need a new system. You need a stable trading identity. Let me show you how I built mine. I asked myself, if I were the trader I admire, what would I do every day, even if I had 0 trades? And that question birthed my 7-minute protocol, a simple checklist I do before and after each session. 2 minutes, review the last 3 trades, entry, emotion, execution. 2 minutes, visualize the next setup with structure, not signals. 2 minutes, set one behavioral goal, e.g., pause 5 seconds before entries. 1 minute, breathe. No charts, just presence. That 7-minute ritual did more for my consistency than any course I ever bought. Because it gave me identity. Not I trade SMC or I use order blocks. But I am the kind of trader who prepares intentionally and reflects consistently. That identity stuck even on losing weeks because it wasn't built on outcomes. It was built on practice. And that's the difference between amateurs and pros. Amateurs chase results. Pros commit to routines that outlive results. Another thing I learned while trading solo, you must create synthetic accountability. Without a mentor, no one checks if you stuck to your plan. No one calls out your overtrading. No one celebrates your discipline when you skip a setup. So you've got 2 choices. 1. Stay in emotional autopilot and hope discipline sticks. 2. Build systems that track and reward your discipline. Here's how I did it. I made a discipline scorecard. Again, nothing fancy. Every day I rated myself on 3 things. Did I follow my plan? Did I manage risk exactly as defined? Did I trade only when my conditions were met? Each yes got 1 point, max 3 per day. At the end of the week, I wasn't looking at profits. I was looking at discipline streaks. Because over time, I saw a shocking correlation. My most profitable weeks were never the ones with the most setups. They were the ones where I scored 14 plus out of 15 on that simple system. That's when I realized the market doesn't pay skill. It pays consistency under pressure. If you're consistent, even with a mediocre edge, you'll outperform the erratic genius every time. Now, if you're still thinking, okay, but what if I do mess up? How do I reset without someone coaching me through it? I got you. Here's what I call the emotional tripwire technique, my most powerful solo tool. It's based on a simple truth. You don't sabotage your trades all at once. You do it in micro decisions. A little hesitation here, a risk size tweak there, a premature close just to be safe. So I created tripwires, mental signals that force me to pause before autopilot takes over. For example, if I check my unrealized P&L more than twice in 3 minutes, I step away for 10. If I feel urgency to recover a loss, I journal before I'm allowed to re-enter. If I catch myself narrating the trade out loud, I recognize that as anxiety, not logic. Each of these triggers interrupts the loop before damage happens. That's how you coach yourself in real time, not just after the loss. And once you stack these self-coaching tools, the mirror, the ritual, the scorecard, the tripwires, you stop feeling like a lone trader in the dark. You start feeling like your own mentor, calm, prepared, and emotionally aware. And here's the best part. The discipline you build in trading, it bleeds into everything else. You eat better, you sleep deeper, you speak slower. Not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you've trained your nervous system to stay present under pressure. That's what trading alone can teach you, if you're willing to lean in. So let me close with this. You don't need someone to hold your hand. You need a system that holds your standards. You don't need motivation. You need identity, repetition, and accountability, even when no one's watching. And if you can give yourself those 3 things, you'll become the kind of trader others beg to learn from, not because you got lucky, but because you trained yourself like a professional. If this helped you rethink your approach, good. That means you're seeing the game differently now. Start by building one mirror, one protocol, one tripwire, and watch how fast the chaos fades. And when you're ready to trade with a broker that actually supports your process, check the description. I've linked one I trust and use personally. No pressure, just good execution. Because this journey is yours now, and you're more capable than you think. If you want a full breakdown on how to build pro-level trading habits without needing a mentor, drop a comment below. If enough of you are ready to take ownership of your growth, we'll create something just for you. Now let's take everything we've laid as a foundation and press deeper. Because once you've built the mirror, the rituals, the scorecard, and the emotional tripwires, there's still one more level to train if you truly want to trade like a pro. You must master controlled exposure. Let me break that down. One of the biggest reasons traders fail without a mentor isn't strategy or skill. It's pacing. They expose themselves to too much uncertainty, too early, and confuse overload with progress. Imagine this. You've just learned how to read market structure. You're starting to understand where liquidity lives. Then you throw yourself into 4 pairs, 2 time frames, 3 sessions, and full lot sizes. It's like learning to swim in a hurricane. In the pro world, sports, military, aviation, they never do this. They increase exposure gradually, under simulated stress with built-in review. You can do the same in trading. Here's how I built it for myself. Stage 1, clarity over everything. At first, I only took trades that were 10-10 clear. It didn't matter how rare they were. I needed to prove to myself I could wait. Because if you can't wait for clarity, you'll never hold through uncertainty. I defined clarity like this: structure aligned across 3 time frames, clear inducement or fake out, 1 unmitigated zone with imbalance, time of day confluence. If all 4 weren't present, I didn't touch it. Boring? Maybe. But I went 8 days without a single trade, and that silence rewired my brain. It made me patient. It made me earn the trade. And when I finally took one, I was so aligned with the plan, there was no hesitation. Stage 2, introduce controlled chaos. Once clarity was muscle memory, I added one variable: fast sessions, London Open, New York Open, volatile times. I wasn't there to overtrade. I was training my nervous system to stay calm when the candles got aggressive. Same rules, same clarity, but under stress. And I tracked how I felt, not just the outcome. Did I breathe fast? Did I click around? Did I start rationalizing entries I wouldn't take in Asian session? That feedback trained me to recognize adrenaline and pause before it hijacked the plan. Stage 3, simulated pressure. Then came what I call account simulation days. These are the days I'd pretend I was on a funded challenge, strict drawdown, strict rules, one setup only. I didn't need a real challenge. I created the conditions mentally. Why? Because pros don't wait for pressure to be real. They rehearse it. By the time I took my actual challenge weeks later, I wasn't nervous. I'd already felt that pressure, trained in it, failed inside it, privately. And that's the power of controlled exposure. You're not just testing strategies, you're conditioning your execution muscle under different weather. Now here's something else I never understood until I trained solo. You don't grow from new ideas. You grow from wrestling with the same idea until it bends. When I stopped mentor hopping, course chasing, and indicator testing, I realized something. Most of the pros weren't doing anything radically different. They just did simple things with radical discipline. They saw the same setups as you. They waited longer, risked less, executed sharper. And while I was still out there searching for better signals, they were refining reactions, entries, exits, resets at a microscopic level. So I made a rule for myself. Every 90 days, I pick one core concept and I deepen it. 3 months on inducement, then 3 months on market sessions, then 3 months on candle context before mitigation. No distractions, no hopping. Because deep study gives you an edge, not against the market, but against your own inconsistency. You want to train like a pro? Pick a concept, not a strategy. Obsess over it until you stop needing confirmations. Then, you're dangerous. Here's another mindset shift that changed everything. Stop grading your performance by how right you were. Grade it by how repeatable your behavior is. Anyone can win once. Anyone can catch a 1-5 trade on a lucky move. But can you execute the same routine, calm, clear, consistent, 5 days in a row? Without a mentor, you need something more powerful than approval. You need a feedback loop tied to behavior, not outcome. Here's what mine looks like now. At the end of every week, I ask 5 questions. 1. Did I prepare the same way every day? 2. Did I only trade when all conditions aligned? 3. Did I manage size exactly as planned, win or lose? 4. Did I stop when I said I'd stop, even if I was down? 5. Did I journal honestly or hide losses behind logic? If I get 5 yes answers, I celebrate, even if I was negative, because that kind of week compounds. Outcomes don't. That's what solo traders miss. They keep chasing better results instead of better behavior. You don't fix inconsistency with indicators. You fix it with identity's repetition. Here's one last gem for today. Pros don't wait for motivation. They build momentum from motion. This one hurt me to learn. I used to only journal when I felt motivated. I'd only study when I had energy, only trade when in the zone. But that's not how peak performers operate. They build rituals so small, they can't fail. Then stack them. Let me give you a simple habit loop that changed everything. Before session, 1 minute, breathe and visualize setup. 1 minute, read 3 past notes from your journal. 1 minute, affirm your rule for the day. After session, 1 minute, screenshot all trades. 1 minute, score discipline, 1 to 3. 1 minute, 1 sentence. What would I do differently if this was a funded account? 6 minutes a day. No excuses, no burnout, but done daily, it transforms you. Because once you're consistent with your process, the profits stop feeling like luck and start feeling inevitable. So what do you do from here? Start small. Pick one mirror, build one ritual, create one tripwire, then show up every day. You won't need a mentor if you build a system of feedback, structure, and emotional control, because that's all a good mentor would have given you anyway. And when you're ready to trade with a broker that respects your process, One that doesn't ruin your edge with slippage, spreads, or shady fills. Check the description. I've linked the one I trust personally. No pressure. Just an option that aligns with everything we talked about today. You got this. Remember, you don't become a pro by watching more videos. You become a pro when your behavior reflects the trader you say you want to be. And if this helped, share it with one person you know is trying to grow alone. Because we may trade solo, but we don't have to evolve in isolation. Subscribe for more grounded truths like this. No fluff, no hype, just the real work, spoken plainly. Now go trade with intention. If this gave you a real path to grow without relying on anyone else, give it a like, share it with someone else walking this solo journey, and hit subscribe so you keep stacking real skills every week.